Hi, class. This is Mr. Watlington, and I'm just going to walk through briefly just this Unit 2 Lab 1 because I know, well, we had a lot of issues getting Packet Tracer up and running with some of the class members, and I know some of you had problems probably getting your two networks to connect. Now, first, let me just give you a quick overview if you're having problems understanding what this is about. This is really how your internet works. This is how you make connectivity. Now, we're using a DSL modem, DSL service that connects up. You know, we don't use a lot of DSL anymore. Most people have cable or Vios, but DSL is a digital subscriber line. Now, this side over here, this right side, that is our internet service provider there, and it's showing that that has four connections, four peers that we can connect to, which makes up the cloud. From there, it goes to a switch, to a router, and then to the internet server. Okay, so if we look at our routers, and hopefully you all know with Packet Tracer, if you want to know the status of something, you can just hold the mouse over the top of a device, and it will show you what that the characteristics of that is. For instance, here on this side of the cable, this is fast Ethernet connection 0/1, and it's connecting to the server to the fast Ethernet port 0. You can also see the statistics of the server. Just drop down here. That tells you what the IP address is, 11.1.1.10, and it's this /24 tells you that it's using that's just a CIDR notation. We'll get into that more next week. Also gives you the gateway address as well. If you hold it too long, it will disappear. But and more importantly, your DNS server address, 11.1.1.10. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, like I said, is connecting our network through our router. And if you look at the router settings that we have on our router over here on this side, this is our home network. This is inside your house. Excuse me. And so if we wanted to see the settings on that router, we can click on that router, it opens up. It shows, and we're using static. I'm using static right now. My internet address, I hard coded it in here of 11.0.0.10. Subnet mask 255.255.255. I'm using a Class C subnet mask. Excuse me. The default gateway is 11.0.0.1, and the DNS should match what we just saw on the server. So if you're having problems getting your at the very end where you're supposed to be able to get to a web page and it doesn't resolve, you may want to check to be sure that your DNS server IP addresses are correct, because that can be a factor in why you are not able to connect to the web page. Okay, so now we've got our peers, and so basically this peer 0, we can connect it to any of these peers around here. We can, whether it's peer 20, 21, 22, or 23. I'm going to use 21. Now, when we look at the settings for this, there's some things you got to be aware of. One, the type is outgoing, meaning that this is an outgoing path to the our internet service provider. Now, if you look at local hosts, you get three options, three local host addresses. I'm using the 3800, 38,000, I'm sorry, and it's going to connect to peer 21. Peer 21 is this guy right here. So I'll just click once I get that in. We're not using a password. Connect, and what you may get is a blue. That when they call it green, it's not really green. It's blue. When it turns blue, that tells you that the connection is good. On this side, you see this peer is still yellow, meaning that it's talking at layer 1, layer 2, but it's not connecting all the way through. So we can click on this one, and you see it's kind of grayed out. So what we may want to do is go up to, if you want to check the settings, just go up to extensions, right? Click on extensions, multi-user, you go over to that listen. Now, you want to be sure that the local listening address is what we set over here, at 38,000. Basically the IP address and 38,000. These should always be at always accept, and remote networks always accept. And it should be listening. You don't want to stop the listening. Now, if you get this, what you can do to make it work sometimes is delete this cable connection and reconnect it. So we go back down and we'll grab the phone. And usually what I do, I start at the cloud end first, make the connection to modem 1, bring it over, then make the connection to the peer, which would be the link 0 DSL modem. And now they're both synced up. Now what happens sometimes, you may have to do this 2 or 3 times, delete that phone cable and reconnect it. Here again, recommend connecting if you're having problems getting this side to go what they call green, but to me it's blue. Connect to the DSL modem first, then connect to the peer. And sometimes this one will go blue, then this one will go back yellow, and you kind of have to do that 2 or 3 times to get that link to go blue. So once we got that going, now we should be able to come down to our PC and go to command prompt, and we should be able to ping 11.1.1.10. If I remember correctly, that was the IP address of the internet server. Let's see what we got. Oh, it helps to write ping first, doesn't it? 11.1.1.10. And be patient when you do this, because it does take time for these handshakes to happen. And you see the first time it came up, it said request timed out, because it was still doing the handshakes all the way through to get the network connected. So if I want to ping again. Now, a little trick here, guys. If you've typed it with command line, if you're not familiar with command line, if you on your keyboard where you've got arrows, arrow up, arrow down, use those, because if you've already typed a command in like ping, and you want to ping something again, use your up arrow and it will automatically autofill the last command that you typed in. So I don't have to sit and type ping again. So now but I'm going to ping this again just to be sure. Yep. So I've got a good connection from my PC all the way to my local PC, through my router, through the DSL modem, through the peer, through the cloud switch, through the router, all the way to the server. Okay, now we want to see if we can actually pull up a web page. So we again go to the command to our PC. Let me close the command prompt, and we're going to go to the web browser. And you should just be able to type in server.com. Enter. And this is what you should see. This diagram right here, I'm looking at it on my local PC, but it's coming from that server. It's a file that's on this server. So that's what you should see all the way through, is that you're now able to ping the server, which tells you that layer 1 and layer 2 is working. Now, when I'm able to go to the with server.com, that tells me that my entire stack, my entire OSI model stack is working. Well, I hope that works for you. If it doesn't, if you're having problems, especially if you're saying the unresolved, cannot resolve name, many times that is a DNS problem. So go back, check your DNS connections. And you should be able to do the same thing if you, even on here, if you go to DHCP. Let's just try this real quick, see if it works for us. DHCP, where it should automatically pull an IP address. So I'm going to just save my settings. And what happened, I may lose connection there for a minute, but let's see. So now if I look at my router settings, you see my IP address changed to with DNS. So now it's pulling a IP address directly, and that IP address is now 11.0.0.1. So I still should be able to ping and still should be able to do everything else. Let's see if we can or not. Well, let's just go straight to the web page, because the web page, if I can grab that, then I don't have to ping. I'll only ping if I'm troubleshooting. rbar.com. Let's see what we got. Ooh, see, tells me I have a problem here, huh? All right. could be just my computer. I'm doing this with using a VM where I'm running Windows on my Mac, and every so often it locks up on me. But let's go back here and let's see if I can ping again. Oh, see, request timed out. So it looks like something didn't connect up with my when I went to DHCP. We'll give it a minute, because here again, sometimes it takes DHCP a few minutes to actually make the connections. Everything else is set there. Alright, so if you see what I had to do to get that to work this time, when I switched to DHCP down on my network side, it changed my subnet mask. My subnet mask was automatically changed to, if I remember, was 255.255.255.40. So I went back and had to manually reset that subnet mask back to 255.255.255.0 and reset my IP address range. These things happen, and this is a very representative of real-world networking, where after you make a change one place, sometimes you have to go back and re-verify that all your settings are the same. So something to be aware of right there. And I'm glad that problem happened while I was doing this video, so you got a chance to see what kind of went on there. If you rewind and go back, you see where when I first went to DHCP, I couldn't connect. It was because my subnet mask had changed, as well as my IP address range. So once I did that, saved the changes, then able to go back now into my PC, and now able to get to the website. There. So showed you how to do it with a static IP address as well as a DHCP address. All right, guys. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have questions, continue to send me the emails and the texts. Take care.